Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Should we turn the light on?
Do we need it?
I don't know. I feel like I need it.
Okay, emotionally need the
Emotionally,
light.
I need that. I'm like a ficus. I photosynthesize.
You have, this is funny because you, out of all people, needing the light.
Well, I feel like, yeah.
You're a little vampire.
Well, usually I'm trying to chill, but now I'm trying to, like, the opposite of chill, you know? I need my...
I'm trying to have a mental breakdown right now.
I need my neurons to be firing, you know?
You know, every episode you have moved the mic every time we start recording.
I'm so sorry, dude. I'm trying to get into my situation, you know? Welcome to Nat 2, where it's just the two of us.
Naturally.
Was that supposed to be you who
I
said
don't
the
know.
middle part?
Who cares?
Okay, anyway.
You know? What another glorious day for another glorious episode.
Yeah, dude. Shall we recap?
Heck yeah, man.
Cool. So, we met a spooky balaclava-clad individual named Fingers, a thief in the Thieves Guild, as he, like, robbed you guys, but then gave all your stuff back, but then said, hey, I actually do need something to bring to show that I did this for my job. You guys took an emotional carriage ride into the Waypoint town. You got in there. You hopped off Senthit's carriage in search of a gift for the Talenthi royal family and a drink. No, that was the gift. And a dress. There we go. To wear to look all fancy schmancy.
Yeah.
You were going to have Fingers show you around, but then all of a sudden, poof, a police officer appeared and Fingers had to disappear on account of the relationship between police and thieves.
And the police officer that we met had a killer Cockney accent. Who knows what he said, honestly?
Yeah.
If you're Cockney, let us know. I'm kidding. We know what he said.
I wrote it out, all of it. I had a cheat sheet of Cockney rhyming slang. Anyway.
And he told me where I could find all the stuff that I was looking for, which included going to the Dented Euphonium, a tavern just down the frog, and then also a dress shop. He didn't really specify what it was called, as well as a Wethway liquor store that he specified that you had to know the previous clientele. Like, you had to know somebody who was already a client.
No first-time customers, so you have to know someone who's already a customer, and they will let you buy from there.
Which he confirmed that he was not a already clientele person. Wow. Already a customer. There you go. That's what that's called. And he gave Tavumile a cigarette, which she had tried, and she did not like, which I'll let you all know. She has not gotten rid of that cigarette. She has just been holding it.
The cop gave her the cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and she just had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one.
I just imagine she's been holding it this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like.
I can't get rid of this now.
It's a gift.
It's just a gift. It would be rude of me to get rid of a gift. And so we got to Dented Euphonium, and we met a lovely couple who the lady was not so cool about us being here. About me. God, you're not a part of this.
I'm not there. I was the lady.
And then the husband was thrilled that I was there. Because he wanted me to pitch to Tembra Talenthi. What was it? Giant yellow mustard? Jim?
Yeah. Good yellow mustard, I think it was.
Something.
Yeah. That's where you lift mustard and get cut and peeled and swole with your boys of like mind.
And then he kind of figured out what the whole issue was, and they told me that I couldn't buy anything there. So I left empty-handed, and decided to make my way to the dress shop, where I met a lady named
Lady Gwynth.
Gwynth. There we go.
Lady Gwynth, very ostentatiously dressed, Wethway high elf noblewoman. is at the dress shop talking to the lady who owns the shop, sees Tavumile in all of her spring finery, and also she just looks like springtime because she's in a spring eladrin.
Mm-hmm.
And goes, oh, this must be for the ball tonight. And then you say, no, I just look like this all the time.
And then she doesn't believe me.
And she's just like, well, you have to come to the ball. And then you say, I can't, because I'm not supposed to even be here. I'm not supposed to stay here. And then she goes, oh, pish, posh, 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 posh. And so you decide that you are going to go to the ball with her. And then she is going to take you to the liquor store.
Right.
To get aforementioned gift for Tenbra Talenthi, and you have clippity-clopped off in her tiny little carriage with her tiny little white horse and top-hatted gentle elf driver.
Right.
That's what's going on.
And that's what's going on.
All right. So you are sitting in the seat next to Lady Gwynth, who is chattering away about nothing in particular, and you are you paying attention, or are you thinking about other things?
I think that she's like sitting there with her like little satchel in her lap and it's kind of just like holding her hands together and looking at them being like, I've made so many promises today. I don't remember what negates the other one. And I know that I'm supposed to go home. And I'm pretty sure I haven't made a promise that negates that one. And I think that she like in the middle of whatever that lady is saying, she like snaps her head up and she's like, I'm not sure that this is a good idea because I'm confused.
About what, Dot? She kind of like, she shakes her head as though to be like, okay, I guess you haven't been paying attention. Anyway. About what, darling? Are you confused?
I've made a lot of promises today, and I'm not sure which ones are working with the other ones, and I'm afraid that I haven't made a promise that negates the one that I promised that I would go back home. And I'm afraid that my family is not going to know where I am.
Oh, darling, don't worry. You can just send them a letter.
I can send letters.
Of course you can. Who do you think I am? Ho, 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 ho. You know, she like a strategically timed white dove flies behind her with a letter, and she like gives it a knowing glance, like winks at her. Of course you can send a letter anytime you want.
Okay. Well, do you have anything that I can write a letter right now?
Of course. And she like takes out of her bag like beautiful stationery and like it's like, so the Weftway colors are purple and green, so it's like purple green, and it's got like the ink of the quill is gold and fancy schmancy crap. She like hands it to you.
I think
like,
that
right away, sweetie.
I think that she looks at this pristine paper and then like smooths it out on her leg, and it gets all like crumply.
Like a dollar at the pool. You're trying to get it in the vending machine. Like,
yeah.
She's like looking at you like, okay, I mean, it's not like it's crumpled that bad, but it's fine.
And like, as she's writing with this gold ink, she accidentally like pokes holes through the paper because
like,
it's like
it like hits you in the leg.
Yeah. Ow. Ow.
Seems like a rather painful letter you're writing.
This is a soft surface. I'm not quite I'm.
She's not going to help you. She's just, like, amused watching you. She's also going to continue to talk the whole time you're writing the letter, and I want you to roll something brainy. Something brainy. What's brainy? What's real brainy? Performance, to see if you can ignore her enough to write what you want to write.
Oh, heck yeah. Freaking performance.
Yeah.
19 plus 4.
You are able, your ears have an off switch.
I think that Tavumile is so used to everybody's words going through one ear and out the other. She's just like, I can turn my brain off whenever I want.
I will open the hole.
I got a black hole in my brain.
The void in between my ears. Okay, cool. So yeah, Lady Gwynth is just like, oh, and the trimmings in the bathroom simply won't do. They don't match at all. And the flooring, and you're like, yeah.
And I think in the letter I write like, to Mum and Lucen. Also, maybe Senthe, because he's going to leave me here if I don't get there by nightfall, so I know that he's home already, so maybe you can get this message back to him as well, because he might be worried about me.
This is quite a long letter,
Comma.
dearie. It's like looking over and there's like a paragraph and it's one sentence.
And it's just who it's addressed
It's
to.
got holes all in it. At least they'll know that you wrote it
Honestly.
for sure. Yeah, they'll be like, yeah, this is her.
I'm not going to be home tonight. I know that I promised in the letter that I was going to be home tonight, but I've made a lot of promises today. And from what Santa told me, all of them probably aren't valid anymore.
You like start crying.
Yeah.
I have no
There's
idea.
like tear stains on the letter.
She's so overwhelmed.
And be like, I'm not going to promise a time that I'm going to be home because I'm not sure. And I'm afraid of making more promises. But I met a very nice lady, and she's going to help me get a drink for Talenthi, and she's also going to help me buy a dress. I don't remember her name. I look up. What's your name again?
She's like in the tile in the Gwynth.
Oh,
Guinevere Gwynth.
okay. And like
It's GWFFICC. And you're like,
I like write out this name that's like a full sentence long.
like all of the letters you can remember.
That's her name. I just asked her what it was.
It was a mistake that I did that.
But I know that at least I'll be with Talenthi in 3 days because I have to be, or else I'll die. Love you, XOXOXO. I roll it up and like crease it and like
Real
fold
good.
it into a little tiny square. Be like, okay, it's ready.
Okay, darling, give me that. And she takes it and she's gonna put it in her bag.
Can I roll like insight on that? Heck yeah. I think
I want you to also roll a perception check.
Okay.
Either one you can do first.
cool. I'm gonna do insight first. What I'm looking for is whether or not she's going to actually send this letter
intent
out.
to send the letter.
Well, I got a 7.
Okay. I think that she just put it in her bag. I mean, the strategically timed for exposition white dove that flew behind the carriage was for exposition purposes.
Yeah.
So it occurs to you that maybe that's not how it works. They're not just flying around. Like she would have to go to the Dove post office, you know. So you're just like, meh.
I think that Tavumile, as she like watches her put it in her thing, and like has this realization that she'll have to go to like what she imagines is like a Dove post
Palace,
office.
yeah.
Be like, well, I wonder if you'll meet my friend there.
Where?
At the Dove post office.
Oh, yes. Well, actually, you know, we don't actually have to go to the post office at all. The doves simply fly to the dovery at the top of the house. Where do the carrier pigeons go? They have like a area. Anyway, it's called a dovery now. They go at the top of the apartment.
Oh.
So we just send them off from there. It's rather convenient.
Have you ever seen a giant pigeon?
No. As a matter of fact, I haven't. Go ahead, roll the perception check.
4.
Okay, never mind. You don't perceive it. I'm not even gonna tell you what it is that you didn't perceive. Okay, so she's like, no, I haven't. Oh, would you look at that? We're here.
Oh,
Ha ha ha, how lovely. So, okay, so she's gonna, you know, get off of the carriage, and she does it in a very ladylike way.
I just like
You just
hop
jump
out.
down.
Yeah.
You like, hit the ground real hard. Okay, and so then you're gonna walk up to. So the building is very. It's like dark wood and like a golden cursive elvish sign. And nowhere in Common does it say this is a liquor store. So it's clearly.
Yeah, I can read. I speak Common and Elvish.
Yeah.
I probably, honestly, this is a character trait of Tavumile. She probably doesn't know how to read Elvish.
Oh, I like that a lot. Well, I think that Tavumile, just roll for fun to see if she recognizes that it's Elvish at all.
Okay. Would this be intelligence?
Yeah.
19.
Okay, you definitely know that this is Elvish. You just don't know what it says.
Okay.
But the point is that it doesn't have Common written anywhere on it. So it's like, this is not for you.
Yeah.
This is for the elves.
Okay.
The high elves, basically anyone in the Weftway clan. So there's a little like, space in the door for like a little slidey. You know what the heck I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like it's like an
Password,
inch.
please.
Yeah, password,
Yeah.
please. And so she does like a secret like rappity rap knock, and then slides open the thingy thing. And like whispers, you see appear on the other side like a sheet white lips skin area, and then some like really thin like they look like, you know, when really old ladies wear lipstick. That's what it looks like. And the voice, because you speak Elvish, says password please, but in Elvish, so it sounds like you know. And she says some, you know, in Elvish explanation that's like, the golden rose blooms in the purple forest, you know, like something like that.
Yeah.
So after that, you hear just like click, click, shink, clunk, click, click of 28 locks unlocking. And he, of course, opens the door for a lady. And he opens the door, and it is a tall, austere-looking elf, as many of them are.
Yeah.
And he is rather old, but very, nonetheless, sort of stately and immaculately dressed.
Okay.
Nice, gelled, comb-over type situation. He bows and says, Lady Gwynth, how lovely to see you. And she says, oh, Galen, it's been too long. Ha 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 ha. They laugh at the same time. And he sort of invites her in and then sort of sees you.
Yeah.
And Gwynth kind of gives him a knowing glance
Yeah.
and goes, she's with me. And they both he looks at her sort of amusedly, and she gives him a look that is difficult to parse. Let's see if you can parse it. Go ahead and roll insight.
Oh my god. I mean,
this is great for me. Whatever it is, it's great for me.
6.
You have she just says, I think you would interpret it as, oh, a stranger. That's why they're like looking at each other, because it's like, oh, you don't know her,
Yeah.
you know, that type of thing.
I think because that's what I think, I go back, oh, I'm Tavumile Fenra. What's your name?
He's like shocked that you're addressing him or whatever. I mean, he's like, I'm Galen. I own this humble establishment, he says it with a French accent.
Oh, that's rather nice. I've never owned any establishment before.
Yes, well, do come in. So they like usher you in. He shuts the door and locks probably like half of the locks.
Yeah.
Can't have the common rabble coming in, can we? And they laugh at the same time. So she's gonna start talking to him, and she's kind of like, we are looking for something that you think that Talenthi, something that would, you know, tickle his fancy. Oh, whatever for, darling? Well, let me tell you.
I have to see him in 3 days' time.
Yes, she does. So we'll be needing a gift. Do you remember in the papers before that bit about the Eladrin girl who was you know, not properly equipped for her meeting, shall we say?
I think that she like kind of bangs her fist on the counter. She's like, why does everybody know about that?
When you do that, every glass in the building just like rattles slightly, and they both look at you like there's a height of impropriety. And you're just like, oh, darling, there's so many delicate, you know, glass objects in here. Please refrain. And Galen is like, yes, quiet, please, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a lot stronger than I look, and I know that I don't look very strong, but because I don't look very strong, I forget that I am.
Yes, she's a farmer.
I am a farmer. I farm water clary.
They both, when you say that, look at you with like roll insight.
Okay. Ooh, 19.
They look at you like they're surprised that you are saying this to them at this juncture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you have mentioned to Lady Gwynth something about water clary previously, but the fact that you are just sort of coming out with it in front of mixed company, even though it's not that mixed company, but not just Lady Gwyn.
Yeah.
They're both just like, okay, well.
I think that she thinks that their look of surprise is like, oh, we don't believe you. And she's like, no, really, I do. Look, I have some here. She pulls it out.
Yes, well, as you see, so what we were hoping for, Galen, and yeah, she kind of like, do you put it back in your pocket?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think I do.
She sort of adjusts her posture such that her body is artfully in the way of you putting your hand back in your pocket.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, she has, like, a purse that goes under your elbow, to sort of be like, oh, you don't have to put that away, ha.
Oh.
We may need it.
You're kind of, you're blocking my...
Yes, ha, and she, like, gently grabs your arm in, like, you know the way that women that are older than you, that they're not that familiar with, are so touchy-feely. Yeah, she's just, like, touching your arm in, like, that type of way. She's like, oh, well, so anyway, we were hoping and she, like, pats your arm.
Yeah. I think that Tavumile's not picking it up at all, but I think that she's just like, well, I can't do anything about this now.
Do you want to decide that, or do you want to roll to see if you pick up on it?
I think as a trait of Tavumile, she just does not get subliminal messaging.
Okay, yeah, so you have decided as a character trait that she's, like, not about it. Okay, cool. So, she's like, so we were hoping that you could outfit us with something suitable to meet, royalty. And Galen is like, yes, well, we have only the best liquors and such here, so let me see. Give me one moment. And he, like, is, like, looking around for something, and then he looks perturbed a little bit, just, like, raised, like, an eyebrow, and he goes, Thalen, where are you? And Thalen is like, you hear off in the corner the sound of something falling. And do you turn to look, or are you just kind of... Yeah,
I think I do.
Okay, so when you turn to look, there is a elf that is standing across the room, and he is sort of composed into a posture that looks both suave and uncomfortable at the same time. And he is, like, red-faced staring at you. It's, like, fully unblinkingly looking at you from across the room.
Let me make an insight check on that.
Yeah.
8.
You recognize that there is something about you that he is interested in.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the most clinical expression of general, even attraction, I think, is too... it has too much of a connotation to it. Something about you is interesting to him. That is evident to you.
I think I go, hello, I'm Tavumile Fenra. You're Thalen.
He goes, she spoke to me. And Galen is just like, Thalen! And he's like, jumps to attention. He's like, yes, master. Please go get the refrigerator thread from the back. The 2000 proof.
Jesus.
Yeah. Stiff drink, as it were. And Thalen is right away, master. And he, like, goes to the back, but he kind of, like, goes. You can tell that he's thinking about how he's gonna do it in a way that's cool.
Yeah.
So he's like, kind of turns his body first, and then his eyes are kind of, like, on you. And hold on. I have to roll something. He successfully winks at you. So he fully, he turns and just gives you a little wink. It looks really cool and suave. I'll be right back.
I think that Tavumile's just like, is that like a greeting? Did you see what he did? And she looks up at Gwynth.
Lady Gwynth is looking at Galen, and Galen is looking at Lady Gwynth.
Okay. I think that I'm just like, did you... oh, I guess not.
Do you want to roll investigation or insight on their knowing looks to see?
11.
You think that they are amused at his behavior, or like they're not amused, but like Galen was clearly irritated, and you imagine Lady Gwynth also was at his like not being there situation, so they're kind of like giving each other a look about What was that, darling? A greeting of some kind?
You didn't see it, so now it doesn't matter.
Well, what was it?
Well, it looked like he had something in his eye.
What are you why would that be a greeting?
When you blink.
Can you show me what he did? Roll performance.
9.
My DC for that was 10. So I'm gonna say that you get most of the way through a wink, and then your other eye also shuts. So it's just like one and then the other, and then you like a freaking frog, you know? And she goes, he did that? That's what he did?
Yes.
No, maybe, genuinely, maybe he did have something in his eye. I'm not too sure. Galen rolls his eyes because he knows. Shay would imagine that he knows what's going on. And he's gonna kind of stick his head towards Lady Gwyneth and be like, boys of that age always have something in their eyes. And she's like, oh, yes, I understand.
It really seems hard to be a boy at that age. I hate having stuff in my eye.
Yeah, so as you're doing that, he sort of pops back, and he's sort of, he's like walking with one foot in front of the other. He's like slinking forward. So let me give you like just a handle on what this guy looks like. He is tall, pale, like kind of honey blonde hair that's like it's like like how they did Draco dirty in the first couple movies where he's like all slicked back. It's like one of those like I'm fancy because we had a liquor store. Like one of those. But it's like very. I like the idea that elves have really sharp haircuts, so it's a really sharp haircut.
Okay.
It looks a little dorky because of the slicked packageness, but and he's wearing a purple waistcoat, a green tie, very the Joker, and then a sort of what's the word? Like a nice shirt, white button-down type shirt. It's like old-timey because what time is this set in? Who knows? It looks like the uniform of the place.
Okay.
So he's sort of like slinking towards you, and you notice that he has a little scar on one of his ears. It's like a little chink-chink taken out of one of his ears. Oh, and he has freckles. Oh, because we love a freckle.
A little freckly boy.
Is
he a high elf or is he like a
Yeah, he's a high elf, yeah. He looks like maybe Galen looked like that when he was his age. Like they have Galen and Thalen, I feel like Tavumile senses there may be a connection there, but
it's like the Hobbit with the dwarves. All their freaking names rhyme if they're related.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about anything.
Orin and Thorin and Cloen and Owen.
We'll do that now. Adopted. So he's like slinking towards you, and he's holding a red box, with like a golden like fabric, like silk ribbon around it. And he's gonna put his finger into the ribbon, like he's gonna do like that one finger swipe, and the whole thing like pops open. And he does an excellent job. This is an extremely suave elf. So he just takes it off and like neatly puts it to the side and kind of presents to you the box, and he opens it. And in purple silk, kind of embedded in the box, is this bottle of a brown liquor that has sort of like, it looks like it looks like nail polish, kind of, sort of. With
like
it's
really
like
thick?
sparkly.
Oh.
No, it's not thick. I'm trying to think of that. It was like a popular thing on the internet for a while.
Oh, like
that stuff you put in your cocktails. It looks like that, but it's like brown.
Okay.
And it's in a really fancy schmancy bottle with a bunch of filigree, and it looks expensive, and it's all in Elvish and all that good stuff. And he's like, yeah, I've brought you the, what's it called in common again? I'm not sure.
I speak Elvish, and I think that I say that in Elvish to him.
And he's like, she spoke to me again, she speaks Elvish.
I think I walk up to him and like take the bottle from his hands to like, and I like look at it and I see that it's sparkly and I kind of shake it around a little bit.
Do your hands touch his hands?
Perhaps. Let's roll
Do they
for
brush?
it.
Do like a flat. Well, I don't think Tavumile would be trying to do something to this boy on purpose.
No, but I think that she wouldn't be thinking about like how she grabs it.
Right. Okay. We'll make it like a flat roll. Then.
Okay.
Yeah.
19.
You touch his hand so tenderly, and your smooth, gentle skin brushes against his.
Well, I have bark on my hands.
Your rough and tumble skin and your rough hands. That's right, you're a farmer. Brushes against his, and you can, like, as he feels that, he goes, oh. And Galen stomps his foot, and he's like, Thalen. He's like, yes, so this is, we would like to present this to you as the gift for Tinbra Talenthi, if you'll have it.
Well, I think that this would be fine. Would 4 gold and 1 silver be enough for this? Hopefully it's less than that because I still need enough money to buy a dress.
Roll perception check.
Okay. 15.
You realize now that the only thing in your hands is the bottle of liquor.
Okay. Oh, did I drop my plant?
Oh, this, darling. And you see Lady Gwynth has it in her hands, and she's like, well,
yes.
I have it for you here. You seemed very excited about the present. I have it for you here, but unfortunately it's a bit more expensive than, even... she, like, gets in close. She's like, definitely more expensive. 4 gold, even more expensive than I had thought.
Oh.
But...
That's unfortunate.
Indeed, but fortunately, you have something that could definitely foot the bill.
My button?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, never mind. I guess that's not it. Is it? What do I have?
She's, like, twirling it in her fingers, and she's like, this, darling.
Oh, do you guys work on, like, a trade and barter system?
Well, not typically, but, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, desperate is a bit much. We are, yes, in this particular instance, desperate time, desperate measures, but we're not desperate. So, this will service for this situation, yes.
All right.
Perfect. So she's gonna hand Galen the leaf.
Yeah.
He takes it. He has light blue gloves on. What an outfit these lads have. He's got light blue, like they look like Mickey Mouse gloves, but they're like real legit gloves people used to wear. I can't think of what they're. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And he puts it in on a piece of like silk fabric, like shiny purple silk fabric, and puts it in a box. And then he puts it into another box.
The leaf?
Yeah, and he shuts that box, and then he locks it.
I think that Tavumile watches this, and she's like, wow, you're really protective over your stuff.
Well, we have to be, sweetheart. It's not necessarily the safest place to have a fancy store like ours.
Oh.
The quality of our products can attract some unsavory customers.
I met somebody who everybody said, well, not everybody, a cop said that he was a tea leaf, which I guess is a thief, but he was rather quite nice and he didn't really steal anything. So I wonder if it's just all a misunderstanding.
Yes, well, nevertheless, they do exist and we must protect ourselves preemptively. This is, for all intents and purposes, a cash box, so it must be kept under lock and key, of course.
Well, that makes sense. And I think that she turns to Thalen. She's like, do you have a bag for this? Or something?
What?
A bag? Do you know what that is?
Oh, yes, of course I do. A bag. I'll be right back.
All right.
He's gonna try and wink again. This time he fully just blinks both eyes. But it's like a slow blink. You know, like when you try to tell your cat that you love her?
Yeah.
And you look deeply in her eyes and give it a slow blink. But he realizes that he has messed up.
Yeah.
And he just sort of like turns and is like, stupid. Blink. Supposed to wink. And like he's walking away to go get a bag. So Lady Gwynth and Galen are sort of chatting about the weather or who cares.
Yeah.
And you kind of have a second. So basically the store is like wall to wall with bottles and glass and baubles and blah 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 shiny things. And there's a back room that has kind of like a silk shroud curtain type situation. That's where Thalen went through.
Can I go back there?
You could try.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be stealthy about it? I'll let you roll with advantage because they're distracted.
Do I get a sense? Let me roll freaking insight, I guess, to see if she gets a sense that she's not allowed back there.
Oh, okay.
10.
I think you are allowed anywhere that you want to go.
Heck yeah. I don't think I'm gonna do it stealthily. Yeah. Am I still rolling with advantage or no?
Are you being stealthy?
No.
Then I'm gonna have you roll against their passive perception.
Okay, so just a flat roll.
Yeah.
Okay, and no advantage.
No advantage.
Okay. 13.
They both see you. And so you're just kind of walking that direction.
Yeah.
I think you hear them stop talking as they're like, what's she doing? And then they see you go in that direction. They're like, oh, sweetheart, I can't go back there. Sorry, we have all of our business sort of ledgers and such back then. It would be dangerous for business to have, everyone walking back there.
Oh. I was just wondering if any of these bottles on the wall are potions.
Oh no, they're all various types of alcohol, spirits, liquors,
spirits,
and stuff of that nature. Like alcoholic beverages.
Oh,
so
I thought that you had ghosts.
Okay, are you what direction are you facing? Are you facing?
I think my body is turned towards the like you know how like if you're standing in front of a door, but then you're just like looking towards like people who are talking to you, but you don't turn your body to them. I think
so you're still facing into the doorway?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm like looking at them. But I'm not continuing to walk. I'm just like standing there.
Got it. Cool. So as you're speaking to them, as you finish that sentence, Thalen walks out with a bag, does not notice that you are there, and fully just like bumps into you.
Okay.
Roll a we'll say like athletics check to see if he knocks you over.
Okay.
You're gonna roll against his. We'll do athletics.
Okay. 9.
You're free and powerful. So what happens is he walks into you with the bag, and he's just sort of like, okay, next time I'm going to close one eyeball, and it's going to go great. I did it the first time. You hear that get louder, and all of a sudden, it's like him against the curtain, and then he fully just like, like as his head goes through, your eyes meet. And he is so surprised by the turn of events that he bumps into you and knocks himself over.
Aww.
And he's like on the ground holding the bag, and he's like, oh, she's standing right there. I'm
and sorry.
Galen and Lady Gwynth are like, what is happening? Is all of a sudden, you were just holding the bag, right, Thalen? Like, they're not worried about him. They're worried about the bottle falling on the ground. He's like, oh, yes, sorry, okay.
I think I stick my hand out the thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Under no circumstance am I going to hold your hand. Ha ha ha. He stands up and he's like, sorry about that. Here's your bag.
Oh, thank you. Do you know how to make a gift look nice? I'm not very good at giving gifts in general.
Yes, I'll do that for you. You can tell that he looks kind of like defeated.
Oh.
And he goes over there, makes the bag all nice. And
I think I'm like watching him do it, and she's been holding on to the cigarette the whole time. Like, literally the whole time. It's just been in her hand. Mm-hmm. And I think that she's looking at this and being like, this is a gift. I was given a gift. I don't want this gift. Do you want a gift, Thalen?
A gift? From what? What are we talking about? And he still is just kind of like, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Fell over. Couldn't blink. Wink.
I have a gift for you if you want it. Do you want it?
What?
Here you go.
Is it this? And he takes it in his hand.
It's called an oily rag. I think
Wow, something from your culture.
I've never had it before, but it was given to me by a policeman, and then I tried it, and I really did not like it at all. And, well, and she's like thinking in her head.
Yeah.
Her universal rule of promises really aligns with her universal rule of gifts.
Yeah.
Being
She
like,
got one rule.
yeah, if you re-gift something, it still stays a gift, so then it's fine.
Yeah. As you are pontificating about your many rules that of which are based on one rule, you hear the tapping of an impatient foot behind you, and Thalen goes, "Her lips were pressed against this at some point." Doesn't understand that you didn't like. Well, did you smoke it?
I did, like, once.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, then he is justified in his weird freaking. It's like her lips are pressed against this skirt at some point. I shall treasure it always. And he, like, puts it into a little silk pouch, into a box, into another box, puts it in his pocket, and he goes, "Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you do me the honor of seeing me tomorrow?" All of the heads turn to Thalen, and they have, like, an eyebrow raised.
Seeing you, like
on a day. Like we could go on a day.
What? A what?
A day. I think, this is Lady Gwyn, I think the young lad would like to ask you on a date. Yes.
Oh, I think that her face she knows what that means.
Oh, yeah.
I think that she like, her cheeks get so pink, and like, she's like, I don't know, I feel like the flowers are doing something. She's like, I don't, what is this happening? Like, in her head, she's like, sure.
Great.
What? I've never been on one. What is, what do we do?
I'll meet you here tomorrow, and we can, there's a coffee shop, there's a cafe.
I love teas.
Great. We could go get some together.
All right. You seem rather stressed.
He is, like, pale. He's, like, fully pale, like, sweating. Like, at this point, now that he's secured the bag of your date, he is, like, fully, like, how do I end this as quickly as possible so I can go throw up?
Well, what time should I be? Here? Do I come here?
You can come here, and then we can, because you know probably how to get here, maybe, and then we can go to the cafe together. We can meet out front.
What time? I mean...
10.
Oh, all right.
01.
Oh.
Sharp.
Okay. That sounds fine. That's rather late. Usually I wake up around, like, 4 a.m.
That's quite early. The cafe doesn't open until 10:02. So we'll be there right on time.
All right.
Great. Well, thank you for coming to our humble establishment. And he bounces, and Lady Gwyneth and Galen are just like, well, we best be going. That was horrible to witness.
I think that Tavumile's so, like, eyes wide, face flushed, being like, oh my god. Like, what? I think I've made a promise. Oh, no.
Another one.
And I turn around and I look at Gwyneth and I go, I'm so sorry, I made another promise.
Why should that affect me in any way? I mean, the only thing is we're going to have to get you to here at 10:01.
Sharp,
tomorrow.
because I made a promise.
Yes, sharp. That's the only thing, but you know, we have horses and carriages and things of that nature. So I suppose we're ready to go, having secured your present for Talenthi. And Galen, like, takes her bejeweled hand and kisses it and says, Lady Gwyneth, it's always a pleasure. And she says, oh, the pleasure's all mine. Ha!
I think that Tavumile sees that, and then when she is walking up behind freaking Gwen, she's like, this must be what has to happen. And she turns and she sticks her hand out.
Presumptuous. Yeah, and then he sort of takes your hand and, like, also kisses it, and I'm gonna talk for you for right now. It's not as great as you had thought it would be. It was wholly unpleasant. He has, like, kind of a mustache,
Ew.
like prickly mustache and like old man lips and stuff, and you're like, okay.
I'm like, oh, thank you.
Good day. And he like shuts the door and like has to unlock the locks. He like click, click, click. He's like, man, I really shouldn't have. He opens the door, kind of like hip checks you, shuts it, and as you hear the last clickety click clanking of the locks, you hear very in the distance someone go. You hear Galen go, Thalen! It's like fades into the distance.
I think
A successful trip to the liquor store.
I think as we're walking back to the carriage, be like, I'm not that smart, but I'm also, I feel like I could tell that I'm not socially apt enough, and I think that I ruined that.
Apt?
I think that I'm...
What a good word. Apt.
Apt. It's one of the big words that I know.
It's not that big of a word.
I guess
3
not.
letters.
It's big in my heart.
What were you talking about?
I hope I didn't mess up your clientele.
Oh, darling,
customer
no, of
purchasing
course. You're fine.
powers.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
We're fully, you and him, listen. Don't worry about that at all.
All right.
The only thing is, listen, you can't be, and as you're kind of having this conversation,
Yeah.
you're piling back into the carriage, presumably to go back to Lady Gwynth's place to get gussied up for
Okay.
the ball. You're getting back in there, and she goes, you can't be, throwing yourself like that at boys at the ball. The king will be there.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to throw myself at him. He walked through the door and he couldn't see me, so then he hit me. And so I was kind of stationary rather than...
Darling, it's a figure of speech. I mean, like,
Oh.
emotionally throwing yourself at boys.
What do you mean?
Like you can't be, flirtatious with every boy that we meet at the ball. Overtly, in the manner that you were. You have to be a little more subtle. And now the clippity-clop has started and you're on your way to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm just looking up at her and the gears are turning in my brain. I'm like, what's that? I felt like I did not understand a single thing that was going on. And I don't really... Honestly, I've never been asked out on a date, and I don't know what it means.
Well, you should be excited then. He's a good, strapping young... you should be excited. It'll be definitely something, a new experience.
All
Always
right.
something, yes. Besides, we didn't mention that you were going to be at the ball tonight. He might be there.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know. That's sort of up to you, I feel.
I don't know.
Well, regardless, certainly we can get you all ready for your date tomorrow at 10:01 a.m.
Right. Can I be vulnerable with you for a second?
Sure.
I think that I turn my body fully to her and I get real close and I'm like, I'm rather stressed. I don't ever have this much activity, honestly, in any part of my day ever. And I feel like a lot is happening. And I feel like I've been away from home for quite a long time. And I'm worried that something is going to happen. I'm not quite sure what will happen, but I feel like something will, and I'm afraid that it's going to be my fault and that I will have let down people and made people mad at me, and I don't really want to make people mad at me.
Well, listen, darling.
Yes.
The only thing that's going to happen tonight is we're going to have a wonderful time at a ball. You've never been to a ball, correct?
Correct.
Your first one ever?
Yes, I'm not even quite sure what it is.
It's a party, it's a dance. So we're going to go to the ball, you're going to have a lovely time, you're going to live a little bit, little farm girl. You're going to wear a lovely dress and be the talk of the ball because you look like springtime, and the theme of the ball is springtime.
I just look like this all the time,
I
though.
know, but it's perfect. That's what I'm saying. You're a lovely girl. You're beautiful.
Oh.
Perfectly on theme for the ball tonight. You'll be wearing a beautiful dress, and you're going to have a lovely time chatting with people and dancing the night away. And then we'll wake up in
Right.
the morning. You'll go on a date, and I'll
Right.
put you on a horse. Not on a carriage, of course. And we'll send you back home, and you'll have lots of stories to tell.
All right. Do you think that my mom will be mad at me?
Listen, she's gonna, like, sidle up to you a
Yeah.
little bit and, like, look at you out of the corner, right? Sometimes, listen, in order to live, in order to have a life, you've got to do some things that are a little bit scary,
Right.
okay? If you're afraid of everything all the time, nothing will ever get done, nothing will ever happen. You know, you can't always be afraid of things. This is just a new experience. You know, perhaps your mother, when you get back, she's excited that you were able to live a little bit instead of wasting your life doing only farming all the time. You know, you've had a night out in the town.
I think that she's looking at her wide-eyed, and she, like, had stopped listening when she had said, you can't be afraid of things all of the time. She'd be like, you sound like my mom.
Well, listen, your mum sounds like a smart woman. And
Right.
if we sound similar, there's a good thing that we think similarly. And I would say that if I was your mum, I would be perhaps briefly worried for your safety until they receive the letter, pat on the person, receive the letter explaining where you are, what you're doing, and will return you tomorrow. And there'd be no problem.
I guess that's true. I've always been told that you can't be afraid of the future because then you'd be afraid all the time.
Exactly. See, you've got to remember those words in times of distress. Now,
Glad that I was vulnerable with you.
I am too. Here's to being vulnerable. Now,
Yay.
we are around the corner. If there's anything else you'd like to get off your chest.
One time,
She's like, oh, that's not what I missed. Not what I, okay. Yeah, one time.
I accidentally, while Lucian was over for dinner, took a drink from his drink. And I didn't realize, I thought it was mine. And then I didn't say anything. And so then he took a drink from his drink after I had already drank from it.
It's probably fine. And as you say that, it's like screeching horse halt, like whoa, to the in front of the place where you're going, which is Lady Gwynth's apartment, and she's like, oh, excellent timing. Okay, this is the place. And she's gonna open the door, lady like scooch out of the door and hop ladylikely onto the cobblestone street.
Yeah.
And are you going to get out of the carriage? Or
Yes.
is there anything else you
and
want
I
to do?
just jump out.
Cool. So, this is the place. So, yeah.
Is this, what is it? Is it like apartment buildings?
It is Lady Gwynth's apartment, but it's like, it's more like a condo.
Okay.
But, like, that sounds so goofy to think about. Like, it is a place in the world, the Waypoint Town, that is too small for people to have houses.
Okay.
Like, there isn't room for it. So she has, like, a penthouse.
Okay.
Basically, in, like, a clearly there's, like, gilded, like, gates and stuff. It's, like, a one of them type of deal. So it's, like, fancy. There's, like, fountains and trees and flowers and all that good stuff. And she has an apartment in this sort of complex. It's
Okay.
like 4 nobles.
I think that Tavumile looks at this and she's like, is this where they sell dresses? It kind of looks like where people live.
Oh, no, darling, you're going to wear one of my dresses.
Oh.
Yes.
Am I able to keep it?
Um,
I have to see. I had to get the dress for Talenthi.
oh, well, we can get you a dress for that later. You know, this is the dress for tonight.
All right.
I've just the thing you could wear. It'd be perfect.
All right.
Yes.
I've never worn like a dress. Like I've worn dresses before, but they like my mom made them for me.
Well, these will be a little bit more fine than those, I would imagine. As you're having this conversation, you're sort of walking into the house, and she's handing shopping bags that were in the seat off to somebody. There's someone unloading shopping bags from the back of the carriage. Just like butlers in like powdered wigs because we love that, and then like maids, and they're dressed like butlers and maids, just with purple and green and gold and all that good stuff. And you are walking down a stone pathway into the house, or into the apartment complex. And it is very fancy schmancy. There's like a door, 2 doormen like holding the doors open and all that good stuff. And she's like, yes, we have everything you'll need. We have, spare, stays, peignets, pair of bodies you can wear, all of we have, and the peigne that I think is perfect, will fit you perfectly. The pockets in this thing, you could fit anything in there.
What? Are these items of clothing?
Yes, darling. You'll see. You'll look lovely. And you're like walking into the place. So basically, it is now about 3. The ball is going to start at 7. But like, fancy ladies need lots of time to get ready. So there's like, you have like maids, butlers, ladies in waiting, that are like, the sort of the apartment is for Weftway nobles that are traveling to Waypoint Town. So it's not like palatial or anything, but it is relatively large compared to neighboring kind of apartment buildings, complexes, and stuff like that. It is extremely ostentatious. There's like tapestries on the walls. There's jade tile on the ground, like mosaic tiles of like, great battles and famous, historical figures that you don't know who they are. And the maids and the butlers are adjusting flower arrangements, adjusting furniture, like general, like the same area over and over again.
I think that I like turn to some of them when I walk past them and be like, are you going to the ball as well?
They are shocked that you're talking. Everyone you talk to is like, first of all, who are you? Second of all, why are you acknowledging my existence? Like, and she's like, like ushers you gently more forward as she talks about, silks and cotilles and the French seaming on this, stuff like that. So you go through the foyer, through a front room that's got a domed kind of stained glass ceiling, and it's like casting all these pools of different colored light throughout the room, and she leads you then through a series of hallways festooned with portrait after portrait of austere-looking high elves.
Okay.
They don't have, like, names next to them because presumably all of the high elves know who they are, but, like, by sight. And in these hallways, there's, like, tables with, crap on them, and butlers are dusting paintings and, whatever butlers do.
Yeah. As we're walking through there, I turn to Gwyneth and I'm like, did you paint these?
You, like, interrupt her mid-sentence. She's like, oh, these of course not. No, my skill with the brush is nothing compared to these great masters.
Oh. Do you know who painted them?
Oh, various, they were conscripted by the Wethay royal family to paint these portraits that we have hanging here.
Sometimes I make button portraits.
How lovely. As you, she keeps walking. Roll a perception check.
All right. 7.
Someone in between the moment you left the carriage and where you are now in the complex looked familiar to you. That is it. As you continue down. I mean, do you want to do something about it?
I think I'd, stop walking all of a sudden, like how I did with the pigeon.
Yeah.
And I stand there for a second, and then I look at Gwyneth and I go, did you see somebody that I recognize?
What?
Did you...
Like, fully bewildered. Did I do what now? What?
Did you see somebody that I recognize?
No. Is this a trick question?
No.
Okay, no then.
All right.
I mean, I don't know where you would recognize any of these people before. I mean, have you been you said you'd obviously visited Talenthi before. Have you ever visited the Westway Royal Court?
No.
Well, then I don't know who you would have. And she's like trying to drop the subject. And you have finally made it to a room. The destination, and she opens this door, and it's like a fancy like carved metal, like you know what I mean, like pretty looking doorknob that's like wide as a doorknob, with flowers on it and like fleur-de-lis and stuff like that. And she turns it, and you walk in. And this room is all like dark wood, beautiful fabrics, artwork, and it's got a large 4-post bed in the middle of it with a purple canopy. You were walking past other rooms you could kind of see in, and this is by far the largest room that you saw. So as she kind of guides you in there, she is gonna like keep walking through this room into another room, opens the door, and suddenly you are face to face with wall to wall of the most beautiful dresses you've ever seen in your entire life. But like this much of them, because they are crammed together. Well, here we are.
Wow.
Time to get ready.
Yes. Did you make all of these yourself?
No, I've purchased them.
Oh, I make all of my clothes myself. Sometimes my mom makes them for me, but wow. I've never made anything this good.
Yeah, well, it takes quite a bit of, people, you farm, yes? And, like, as she says that, maids, like, turn to look at you like, she farms? Why is she in here? And she's like, well, people have devoted their lives to making the most beautiful dresses you could ever imagine.
Wow.
Yes, so this is the sort of product of that.
I wonder if it would be easy to farm in, because, like, you would have free motion without trousers. You could just like your legs could go anywhere.
Indeed. So this is what I think would be perfect for you.
Right.
And she's gonna pull out a dress, and I want you to describe the dress that she chooses for Tavumile.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah, man. The dress. I think that probably because she's like, oh, I have the perfect dress for you. And she's like pink, yellow, and green, but like all pastel-y. Like that's how Tavumile looks. Mm-hmm. But she has like these dark, barky bits. I think that the color scheme of the dress is like within that. So I think that it's like a very cute little like bodice that has like, it goes up to where it's like a where it kind of like it's just below the collarbones and it's very flat cut. Mm-hmm. Like there's no like V or anything. Yeah. And it goes down and the bodice ends in like a V. And I think that part is like a very like pastel pink kind of color. And it has translucent little sleeves on it that go all the way down to the wrist, but they're like see-through, but it's like translucent pink tulle. Mm-hmm. And then the skirt part of it, I think where the V kind of like of the bodice ends, it's like a 3-layered skirt, but it's like open in the front so you can see all 3 layers. Mm-hmm. And so the first layer is like this it kind of looks like, how sometimes tablecloths look like a beautiful dress pattern. Uh-huh. Hey, you can tell that I don't wear a lot of fancy clothes.
Looks like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, a tablecloth. That's what it looks like.
I feel
like that is on brand for Tavumile, though. She's like, we have a really pretty tablecloth. It looks like that. So I love it.
It's like very floral patterned, and it has pinks and greens and yellows and like little dark kind of like accents in it, and that's like attached to the bodice, and it's like the outer layer of the skirt, and it's cut in the middle to like show the under layer of the skirt. And so underneath that is just like poofy like frill to make it look bigger, is probably within the same color scheme. And then there's like a kind of very silky pink like layer underneath it, that's the layer that's showing through the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the bodice itself, it has like beautiful stitching and boning and all that. And probably on the very top, it has like some like decal, like, you know, like crystal decal, like whatever it's sewn in. And so it's very like matches her whole freaking deal.
Mm-hmm. So this is the dress.
Yeah.
The dress that's perfect for Tavumile. Yeah. Tavumile's dress. So you see Lady Gwynth take that off of the rack.
Yeah.
And then she puts it back on the rack in a different spot and takes off another dress and is like, this is the one that I was looking for. And it's like she was just trying to get it out of the way to get to this other dress that was behind it. Like, oh, I should really organize this. Anyway, this is the dress that I think would be perfect for you.
I want the one that you just took off.
What one?
The one that you just moved. You just took that one. And I point to it.
Oh, this old thing. She takes it off. She's like, it's from like the last season of last season of last season. Darling, we want you to be fashionable.
This is be the most fashionable I've ever been. Can I please?
Are you sure?
Yes. It's so pretty. It reminds me of the tablecloth I have at home.
Fine. I suppose an outfit is all about the accessories anyway.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Do you have a pin? Like
what?
A pin?
Like a pin, like a just a sharp metal thing?
Well, something that I have this, and she like reaches into her satchel and pulls out her little button. She's like, can I pin this?
Okay. Oh, jeez. Jesus exists in the world. I'm gonna have to make this dress work and a button.
I want it pinned to the bodice.
Okay, we can do that, I suppose. Okay. Anyway, so listen, I am nothing if not the most fashionable woman in this town, if not in all of the Weftwick clan. If I can make this last season dress and a button fashionable, and prove it to everyone that that's true. So if I can't make it fashionable, no one can.
Right.
So she's gonna put that, she hands it to a maid, and you can hand your button off to the maid as well, so they fashion it into some
When
sort
I
of...
hand it off to her, but you have to promise to me that you're going to be careful with it.
With the dress?
No, with the button.
Okay, I will be. It clearly has...
Promise.
A promise.
Pinky.
Pinky promise?
Yes.
Okay.
Look, pinky. Yeah, we kiss.
Yeah. Do you kiss in your culture? We must kiss. The hand.
We can.
Not each other. Not the hand. Not each other.
Oh, sure.
There we go. Okay. Well, anyway, so she leaves dress in hand and button in other hand. Cool. So, yeah, so they're gonna dress you. So they're getting all of the required under structures and things of that nature to do that, and you're gonna have a cool like corset tying montage. And she's like, well, while we wait for them to get everything ready, Stuart. He like opens and he's like, yes, darling. She's like, bring in the munchies. Right away, darling. And so like 3 maids in like little cool, hats that denote them as the ones who bring the munchies or something, come in with like beautifully decorated silver platters that have like 3 pecans on, like, like cheese and other thing, like olives and stuff. But just like the tiniest amount of all of them. And then 2 drinks that smell strangely to you.
Yeah.
Maybe Tavumile would be able to tell alcohol by scent or not.
I don't think so, because she's never drank it.
Well, they smell strangely, that's for sure. So they bring a little parade, and then they put them down on the table in the center of the room. Lady Gwynth is like lounging on like a fainting couch, and there's like a maid with a fan or whatever, and she's like, munching away, and on the little snackies. Are you gonna have some? Oh, do dig in.
Oh, it's all right. I brought a snack with me already, and I think I'd like reach into my satchel and I pull out some of the oats.
darling, don't you want to try? It's all about trying new things, right?
I guess so. All right. I guess I'll try some of them. And I walk over, and as I'm like
one of each.
As I'm like walking over, I think, oh, I forgot to mention, I see that everyone's wearing shoes. I don't want, I can't.
Can't do what?
Wear shoes.
She like drops the thing that she's the single walnut or something she's holding. She's like, "What do you mean you can't wear shoes? I mean, I see you're not wearing it now, but I figured that was like a earthy, earthy farm girl thing or something."
Here, feel my foot. I stick it out to her.
Is it like it's like warm and wet and stuff? And she's like, I know you wiped it on the carpet on the way in. I do appreciate that.
Well, here, you can feel my hand instead because it's made out of the same stuff. Here you go.
Same stuff. She like holds her and she's like, oh yes, I remember from before, but I figured that was just like a farmer thing.
No, my feet have bark on them. And if I wear shoes, it hurts. I gotta keep them aired out because otherwise roots grow and it's...
Aired out. She's like, look, that's fine. They look sort of like, and I don't want you to take this in a negative way, they look sort of like you're wearing shoes anyway. Right. So we can say, oh, bark, tree, springtime. Yeah. I think that'll work.
They're kind of like shoes. I mean...
A button and the old dress and the bark feet and...
Well, I don't want roots to grow.
I know, I understand that you wouldn't want that. Why would you want that anyway? And she's like...
Do you not have that issue?
Of course I don't. She, like, takes her drink and, like, knocks the whole thing back and, like, does the... Ooh, that was alcoholic face. And it's like... Ugh.
I think that she smells the drink. Like, she has it in her hand. She's like... What is this?
Listen, it is lovely stuff.
Should I drink it like you just did?
Absolutely.
All right.
Roll we'll say a Constitution check to see if you can get it down you.
Ooh, baby. 23.
You freaking neck that drink so freaking fast. It like ricochets off the back of your throat and then like ting 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 directly into your stomach.
I'm like,
that was is that your first one? Yes. So they're going to love you at the party. Perfect.
Is there going to be more of this?
Of course there's. Well, listen, the party, there's going to be more of it now. It's a little thing called pre-gaming.
What?
You get a little bit, different, as it were, before you get to the party. Yes, but it's nice. It's good for you.
All right.
Lord knows I need it after my day.
Are you sure it's good for you? I know that sometimes, like medicine, sometimes doesn't taste good.
Listen, it will make you feel less stressed.
All right.
Great. And then she, like, claps her hands and they bring in, like, 2 more glasses. She's like, don't feel like you need to, chug it all... Another one? All right, roll that good Constitution.
She thinks you gotta drink it that way. 10.
Okay, this one doesn't go down so easy. You don't like hork it up, but you're just like, it felt worse. Maybe, listen, let's pace ourselves.
All right.
What do you have in your stomach anyway? Probably nothing, Oats. Right? Oats. Well, hopefully those absorb liquid. You have some more snackies, some more munchies, and she like pushes them in your direction. Make your stomach feel better. Right. Okay. As they get everything ready. Roll a perception check with disadvantage.
Oh jeez.
Because you're getting hammered.
4.
The walnut that Lady Gwynth dropped is gone.
Okay.
That's all you get to know. Okay, cool. So, the one that she dropped on the ground when you said something about not wearing shoes, it's gone.
Okay.
That's all you need to know. Cool. So, anyway, so she's like, listen, while we're getting to know each other a little bit more.
Right.
So, we established previously that it was you in the papers, the one who didn't bring the gift.
Will you be the one... And she's like kind of tipsy now.
Uh-huh.
She's never drank alcohol in her life. She's like, I'm going to slam 2 drinks. will you be the one to tell me what it said? Nobody ever did, and they told me not to read it, and I already don't read the news.
Oh, so I'll tell you. Yes, so basically it was all sort of everyone was agog that you didn't bring a gift to. That's all it was. Surprised and dismayed. But listen, we've all done things in the tabloids we regret.
Really? What have you done?
Wearing something out of season like you're about to do tonight.
Am I going to be in the papers again?
Listen, listen, I'm on the case, so no.
Right.
I will be making you look like a vision in that dress, so fear not. But, things of that nature. But, I'm curious. Why is it that you had an audience with the royal family in the first place?
Well, they didn't really say. It just said that they request my presence in 3 days' time, and I established with Lucien that if I didn't show up, that I would probably die.
Well, let me rephrase. You've been there before, yes?
Yes.
Why were you there the first time?
Well, I used to grow vegetables, and I used to sell them to, the royal people, so that they would look at me and my family in a way that they would we want them in our clan, I don't, what's the word for it?
Accept you?
Sure.
Okay.
And, well, my farms flooded, and then I wasn't able to really grow vegetables anymore, to the point where it seemed like they weren't taking them anymore. And I was afraid that there was a different reason why they weren't taking them. And my mum, she got really sick around this time, and so the lack of money was a really big concern, because I wasn't able to get medicine for her, or really anything for us to eat all that much. And when you're sick, you have to have good meals, because that's part of it. And, well, because of that, the last time I went to the palace on my own, I went there and I knocked on the gates, and I'd never done that before, but I was really desperate. And they told me that they didn't want anything that I had brought, which wasn't very much, but I was worried, And when I was coming back, I saw that there was a cart, and it was in front of me, and I was thinking about how I was going to make everything better, because people in my clan also didn't really want to talk to me anymore. They were afraid that if they were interacting with me, that they would be also seen not favorably, and that the palace would stop accepting the stuff that they were trying to sell. And you can only sell so much at the market. Then you can't. Nobody really has a lot of money where I'm from.
She takes another sip of her drink.
Well, anyways, so then this plant fell off the cart. I don't know why they had it, but it fell off of the cart, and I took it home with me, and then I realized that it really likes flooded fields, a lot. And so I planted it, and then I planted a lot more of it, and then I found a way to be able to make my whole crop that, except I still have some crop that's just vegetables for me, because I need to eat.
So it just fell off of a cart?
Yes, there's a lot of potholes in the roads around where I live, because it rains a lot. Like I said, my fields had gotten flooded, so it rains a lot, and then it gets all muddy, and then there's
So that is most typically this plant of which you speak.
Right.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Water clary?
Yes, that one is grown in the wetlands of the Westway. So that's how you managed to grow it in Talenthi. Is your fields flooded?
Yes.
Wow, very interesting.
I think that I'm not very smart, but I'm very good with plants. I think that they just like me. I talk to them a lot. And I think that plants get lonely and they want a good conversation.
Well, if you grow it, she fully ignores you. If you grow this crop,
right,
you must know what it is used for.
Well, I found that it's good for medicine. Like, it's kind of like a painkiller, and we give it to my mom sometimes. I have a plant that's just for me that I don't harvest so that I can make medicine with my mom. And I make potions. I'm not very good at it, yes, but I do make them, and I use it in some of them. And honestly, I don't know much about what's happening with the clans and treaties in it. Like I said, I don't read the news, but it seems like I'm helping people in a way that I don't particularly want to be involved in. But the last time I went, they conscripted me. That's what they said. I don't really know what that word means, but they said that they were going to conscript me to grow this, and then they put up a bunch of fences around my farm, and then all the things say that nobody's allowed on my farm and that it would be treasonous, and I don't think that I can get out of it now.
Oh, I see. So that's what's happening. So it's not really something that you believe in.
I don't know what I believe in. I think that I just am doing stuff to help my family out and to help my mom out particularly. And I think that I'm just trying to go by what Lucien and my mom tell me, which is can't worry about the future because then I'll be afraid all the time. That's what you told me too. So it must be true if 3 people have told me.
Yes, that is how that works.
Is that another rule of the world?
In this case, I think yes, you could say, you can view it in that way. So what about you? What is it? So it's you and your mother you said she's ill.
Right.
What about your father?
Well, I've asked about him before with my mum, but it always seemed to make her really sad. And so I never really asked again once I realized that it made her sad because I don't want to make my mum sad. So I don't know.
That's understandable. Well, if your mother is sick, if you come to the Westway, we are renowned for our healers. And she's like swilling her liquor thingy. And I know to an extent that Talenthi are, she looks at you conspiratoriously, deficient somewhat in that area.
Well, Lucien is he's really great. He was a medic in the war. And
A medic in the war, I see. Well, you do know, I don't mean to be crass, but just, to offer this as an example.
Right.
One of the largest points of our victory over, in many battles, the Talenthi clan was the use of poison. And it just seemed to be something that was insurmountable for your Talenthi medics sort of to overcome.
Poison.
Yes, so, and again, I don't want to, this is just for an example.
All right.
I don't want to upset you, but it was sort of something that they found that they were not able to contend with, as it were.
The Westway used poison?
Well, yes, in the war, darling. So,
Right. Lucien doesn't ever tell me about anything in the war because he doesn't like to talk about it. Senthid sometimes tells me stuff, but most of the time it's just about people that he met and drinks that he drank and times that he got drunk.
Well, I can tell you this, darling. You're not doing yourself any favours by leaving your beloved mother in the hands of a sort of a local medic. Why don't you seek out the best possible care?
Because Lucien is one of the best people that I know, and he's my best friend, and he's the town medic, and he knows how to make the medicine for my mum, and I don't have money, so I can't pay for any treatments.
Well, first of all, I'd say this. You don't need money when you have what you have. If you recall from
Charisma?
earlier... Yes, of course. No. The crop, the notable crop If you recall from earlier today, just a single leaf bought you that rather expensive gift.
Right.
So there's that. The second thing I'd like to say is your mother still sick?
Yes. We don't know what's wrong with her.
Well, what I'm telling you is this, and she's like leaning closer and closer towards you. If you brought her to the Weftway, to a healer, there's a good chance that she would be able to fully recover. I mean, why not try it if you can?
Do you think that you would be able to bring me there, and then because you know them, I wouldn't have to do anything? Like, I wouldn't have to pay, or...
Well, certainly you wouldn't have to pay in money,
All right.
as we have previously discussed.
Right.
But certainly I could help facilitate the whole process, get a carriage to bring your mother over to the Weftway side of the border to...
I wonder if Lucien would be okay with that. He doesn't... I don't mean to upset you. And she,
He's
leans in a little bit.
We are inches, 2 inches, yeah.
Lucien doesn't really like the Weftway people, and I don't want to upset him.
Well, I mean, listen, she leans in even closer, and she's like, and I don't want to upset you even more. And I also don't want to I'm not trying to speak badly about your friend Lucien, but consider that he is holding you back. I mean, if you only ever have your mother seen by him because of his, pride or his personal biases, aren't you somewhat, putting your mother in danger just to sort of protect his feelings?
I think that she gets this look in her eyes where she's like, oh no. like her eyes are kind of tearing up a little bit, and she's like,
no, no.
I love my mom, and I love Lucien,
no.
and I don't want this to be...
No, listen.
Am I putting my mom in danger?
This is all I'm saying. She's like puts her hands on her shoulders and in that sort of I don't know where to touch you to make you feel better kind of way, and she's gently patting it. She's like, no, I don't want to upset you. This all I'm saying is this: you could give it a try. Right? And if it didn't work and they couldn't heal her, then, your friend Lucien can do a victory dance about how, Weftway people are as awful as he thinks they are, something like that. I don't want it, this is all jokes. But if it works, then perhaps even Lucien could get some lessons. He could learn something new. I mean, I don't see a downside.
That's a really good idea. And she rubs her eyes.
Well, I mean, with your blessing, I'm happy to arrange the whole thing.
Okay,
so...
Because if Lucien can learn something, then that means that it's a good thing for him too, right?
Of course, we could all go together. How wonderful would that be? We can all get it worked out, and we can see, what we can do.
All right.
It's all about trying new things today.
That's right.
That's right. We can't be afraid all the time. Correct.
Right.
Of course. So as she goes to keep talking, there's a knock on the door and say, "Come in." And Stuart, the butler, she's like, "Yes, ma'am. There's the flower arrangement has," and she's like, "Oh, well, give me one moment," and she says that to you, and she gets up and goes over to him. She's like, "I'll be right back, darling. In the meanwhile, look, it looks like your dress is all ready for you, so the maids will just get to dressing you, okay?"
All right,
I'll be back soon.
Okay.
And so she bounces, and in walks 6 maids, and they're carrying your dress, all of the under fat clothings that need to go underneath it, and they all look like I am supposed to be seen, not heard. You know what I mean? They're not really interacting with you as a person. They're just sort of going about their job. When I was talking to you about how in Japanese businesses they'll go "irashaimase" and you're not supposed to say anything back to them. It's very like that.
Okay.
So if they're gonna be like, "What the heck?" and you get kind of a vibe from that.
Yeah. I think that she still is while they're dressing her, she's like, "Do you like doing this? Is this something that you like?"
They don't realize you're talking to them.
Well, I hope that you do. Jobs are important to like them because you're doing them a lot of the time. Wow, ow. That corset hurts a little bit. I can't breathe.
It's actually I don't want to correct you or anything, but it's a stays.
Oh, stays hurt.
Well, we can make them a bit less tight.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So they're like picking up your arms and body parts and tightening things and stuff like that. And they're like putting on. I have a special interest. It's me, your DM, in a historical dress. Not that I know anything about it, but if I say lots of things, it's because I'm excited for this to come in handy finally. They have they're putting on you, and this is all maybe different decades, so come for me, but they have like sleeve supports to make your sleeves puffier, and a peigne, which is the thing that makes your hip super wide looking. Like they put that on you, and they're like doing all this stuff as you're kind of talking to each other.
Yeah, so I think that Tavumile's thinking in her head, she's like, this would not be good to be farming in.
Never mind. Forget about that. But they give you like tie-on pockets. Mm-hmm. So you have pockets that you can get to. So the skirt's kind of like two pieces. So it's like the back ties on, and then there's like petticoats and stuff like that. And those are also tied on. So you can get to your pocket through the space in between the skirts, and so they're like helping you know what the heck is going on and stuff like that. Roll a perception check.
All right. 13.
One of the maids' uniforms looks slightly weird.
Okay.
Like you can't like put a finger on it, but something is wrong.
Can I do like a insight check?
Yeah.
6.
You're like too overwhelmed by all of the things happening to you to really narrow down what it is that's whatever.
Does it look different than the rest of them, or is it just like it's slightly...
It's like when you look at like one of those things that's like you know what I'm talking about, like two pictures and there's like very subtle differences. You can tell that there's something that is different and you can't figure out what it is.
Okay. I think that I'd put that in the back of my mind, and then I'm going to make a perception check to see if the one I gave my button to is here.
Oh, yeah.
12.
She isn't, but the button is there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like on a table also. And they are, getting everything ready for you, like finishing up, putting your dress on. And she's like, you wanted this pinned somewhere
to the bodice, probably where my heart is. I've heard that that's a good place to put stuff that you care about.
They sort of like look at you and then look at each other, and Shay can hear them thinking, not Tavumile but Shay, is an Eladrin's heart in the same place as a high elf heart? Are we doing like upper left hand side or like what? And they're trying to figure out how to not come off culturally insensitive.
Yeah. And I think Tavumile is thinking, I wonder where my heart is.
We have reached an impasse. Okay, so they're kind of looking at each other and they're like, right. Your heart.
Yes.
We'll put it where your heart is.
Right.
And they're gonna do that thing where they're kind of one with the thing is kind of like doing like a hot or colder thing, and it's just like goes to the sort of like middle, and it's just like, yes, your heart.
Yep. And I'm just like watching their hands.
Yeah, and it's like slowly going back, and they're like,
my face is so
like
impassive,
not picking up on anything. I'm gonna roll a perception check for them real quick. They fully think that you are trying to expose them. You know what I mean? Like they fully think that you're not telling them so that they can get yelled at for not so that you can be like, oh, you didn't know where my heart was? Wow, what jerks. And so they're like you can see them like shake, like starting to shake a little bit, and they're like sweating because like we don't know who this girl is, we don't know how important she is and stuff, and they're just like,
are you okay?
Yes. They're like fully stopped. You will have to fix this.
I can put it on if you want.
Ooh, that sounds good. We just didn't. I was afraid that I would stick you with the pin. They have pinned so many things to you. They are not scared of that at all. She like hands it to you, and they all go, whew.
Thank you. I immediately stick myself with the pin. Ow!
Roll damage. I'm joking. I'm fully joking. 13 points of damage. You're dead. Yeah. Stab myself in the heart, which I found. Anyway.
And I'm doing the same thing that they are. I'm like, excuse me. Do you know where the heart is?
Of you? Yours?
Sure.
Oh, we thought you were like, it was like a test or something that we were supposed to. What do you say? And they're like, it's not like obviously they're not actually telepathic, but there's 6 of them,
Yeah.
and they all have worked so close together, they just know what the other one's gonna say, and so it's like voices from everywhere, and they're just like, we thought that you would, you and Eladrin were high elves, and we weren't sure exactly if Eladrin's had the hearts in the same place as high elves, and we were afraid that you were going to be upset.
Is anatomy different?
I'm surprised you know that. They didn't say that. Monica said that. Well, we're not sure. So, what if we put it on the side that high elves have their hearts? Just in case.
I think that would work.
Okay, great. And so they pin it to you, and they're like, okay, so you're ready. The Lady Gwyn says that she wants to do the accessories herself, so we're going to let her do that.
Accessories? Aren't I wearing already so much stuff?
And they like start like giggling to each other, like, there's so much more that you could wear.
Oh. She's like, no.
Yeah. Great. More clothes. So, yes, is there anything else you could need at this moment?
A hug.
A hug?
Yes, I always get a hug from my mom every day, and I haven't gotten one because I haven't seen my mom today.
Well, it is our duty to serve. One hug, or would you like 6 hug? Or we could do one group hug, or what sort of?
Have you guys been hugged today?
Please don't ask me that question. And they like one of them starts like red faced, like watery eyes, and it's just like,
we'll do 6 hugs and then a group hug. I think that would be good.
Okay. They like all take turns like very reverently hugging you.
And Tavumile is so bear hug.
Yeah, like squeeze the life out of them, and they're like, this is lovely. We never get this. And so you're like hugging all of them, but they're properly in a line, like one behind the other, and they like go back to the end of the line. So as you hug them all, you hug the last one, and all of a sudden you feel through several layers of fabric the prick of a pin in your midsection.
I think one of the pins that you put in my dress hurt.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was me. I'm so sorry. And the girl, you notice now what is different about her uniform.
Okay.
She is missing a button in the middle of her shirt, and she had a straight pin that was pinning it together.
Oh.
Yeah, and so that's what stuck. She's like, I'm so sorry. I've been
You're missing a button.
Well, I've been trying to find it, hopefully nobody notices.
Look, I'm really good at finding buttons. The one that's on my bodice right now, I found it in a river.
Okay.
I have some. I think that she takes out her coin purse, the ones that have like the unimportant buttons, and she like picks. There's like 3 of them in there. Yep. She's like, "Would any of these work for the time being?"
She's like looking at him. She's like, "Well, the only thing is that so maybe it's like not." Now that the maids know that you're like cool, yeah. They're like more chilling. Like now that we know, no, not that. The only thing is it would have to be a matching button, because right now it's just a white shirt, right? So nothing's sort of eye catching. But if I had a very different button in place, might be a problem. So
right.
It has to be the same button.
What do the buttons look like?
They're like the most nondescript, like flat, no buttonhole. They have like the buttonhole at the underneath it. It's like a loop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like one of those. And it's like subtly patterned in an annoying way, like a dollar bill, so you can't like counterfeit this stupid button like you would imagine. So yeah,
I'll definitely keep an eye out for it. If I find it, honestly, it'll be really hard to give it back to you. I mean, I will. I don't steal, but these are beautiful. They're like so very subtly different.
Are they that noteworthy? And they're like all like looking at them like, I've never appreciated the buttons on my uniform before.
All of your dresses, I mean, you're all very coordinated. It's very cool. I've learned a lot of new words today. Coordinated is one of them. I've heard it on the street. I heard that apparently that's what the ball is going to be like. Everyone's going to be coordinated.
Yes, they're going to be on theme.
Yes. And you're on theme for whatever this household ball is holding. And I think that it's very pretty, whatever you're wearing. It looks very comfortable.
Thank you. Yes, well, hopefully I can find the button before the inspection this evening.
I hope so too. Can I roll a perception check to see if it's in here?
Yeah.
It's 8.
You have not seen this button.
Okay.
You don't have like a picture perfect memory of everywhere, but of the places you've been, nothing kind of jumps out at you at loose button, because that would be something that you would note.
Okay.
Because you are like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so you're out of luck. Anyways, they're kind of like looking at you, and you're kind of looking at them, and they're kind of like, well, I suppose we should go. Do you need anything else before we go?
I don't think so. Those hugs were very nice.
They were. And they're just like, okay, well, if you need anything else, we'll be around. And they sort of like do a little curtsy.
Yeah.
Like,
I do one back.
Yeah. And they're like, you're not supposed to. And it's like, if you need anything, there's a little bell on the table, and you just ring that, and we'll come running, okay?
Well, that's exciting.
Okay. We'll see you later, hopefully.
All right.
Okay. And they like slowly shut the door, and they're just like, okay, see you later.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
Hello.
Have a good day.
Bye. You too.
Click. They walk away. So now you are in the room by yourself, just you in your big old dress and little munchies.
Yeah.
Waiting for whatever.
I think that I'm like walking around the room being like, how much can I move in this?
You're like doing squats
yeah,
or
like
something.
Calisthenics.
Yeah. So in the room there is mostly dresses. There's like 2 fainting couches in the middle for like her and the friends, There's like other sundry seating. A table in the middle where all the food is, a kind of section where it's just mirrors, so you can see most of the angles of the dress. There's like a long mirror. And there's an area you haven't really gone to yet that's just like jewelry, diamonds, accessory, like tiaras, stuff like crazy. She's not like royal, but like, decorative tiaras and stuff. Everything is very like, gold wallpaper, like detailed and everything's very detailed. Like you look at the detail and there's detail in the detail like thing. And so that's the sort of basic parts of the room. If you want to roll real quick. You said you were doing calisthenics?
Yeah.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. 18.
You feel something in your pocket.
Okay. I'm going to take it out. Or grab.
So you like reach into your pocket.
Yeah.
You feel a button.
Ooh. I get excited. I pull it out and look at it.
It is the button that the girl was missing.
Oh.
Like, for sure, 100%, like, you're looking at it, it looks the exact same. Or at least, if it wasn't that exact button, it is a button, like, that is turned up in that pocket.
I, like, sprint to the door and I open it, and then I remember, oh, the bell! And I run to the bell, and I...
Oh, the bell!
I, like, take
Start
it up.
cranking on that bell, yo! You're going crazy with the bell. So as you kind of start to ring the bell...
Yeah.
you hear dingle, and before you bring your arm down and do the second dingle, you hear a squeak in the middle of the room.
Huh? Are you here already? Oh, that's quick. I looked wherever it is.
Do you do it before you dingle twice?
I mean, probably my arm goes down, and then I'm like, oh, you're already here. I don't need to do any more.
So you turn towards the squeak?
Yeah.
There is, in the middle of the room on the table, next to the food, a rat.
Ooh.
Sitting on the table with its hand on its little rat chest.
Oh.
You roll a perception check real quick.
Okay. 10.
You imagine that you startled it with the bell ringing.
Oh, I cut my hand on it so that it can't like make any more noise. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
It's just like little rat noises.
You're so cute.
It gets its bearings and stuff, and then it kind of just like shakes off and goes, ooh, it like looks at you and it's like,
I like get down real low so I'm like not so imposing. I'm like, are you hungry?
As you say that, you hear like a pitter patter of footsteps. Like it sounds like just one person.
Yeah.
And they are like briskly walking towards the door.
Okay. I know that people don't really like rats, so please don't take offense to this. And I try to scoop it up and put it in my pocket.
Roll sleight of hand, I guess is what you would roll.
Freaking 5.
We're gonna oppose it with.
Wait, I'm gonna use Tides of Chaos, which is
what is that?
Once prolonged rest, you gain advantage on one attack, roll, ability check, or saving throw.
Okay, got it. So what this looks like is you grab the. Well, I guess you would have done this first. Would you have to do it before you rolled, or can you do it after you've rolled?
I think it's after.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it specifies.
I think that it would be before.
Perhaps.
But I think that I'll rule cool it because I like the idea of you trying to grab the rat, missing, chugging a potion, and then giving it another shot. All before this person gets to the door.
I take one of my tiny ones. I'm like,
yeah. This will make me better at catching rats.
It didn't.
What'd you get?
7.
Okay, so this is what it looks like. You go to grab the rat. It, like, sees your hand and does, like, a backflip over it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, that was really cool. Glug, glug, glug. And then you go to grab it again, and it does, like, an aerial over the other one, and then, like, lands all ha-cha-cha with, like, a dried apricot in one hand.
Wow. All right, I guess you don't want to be caught.
So as you're doing that, and the rat is, like, apricot, just walnuts, like, in its little arms. The person, like, approaches the door and, like, goes to open it.
Yeah.
And, like, before they can get through the door, is kind of like, yes, I heard you ring.
Yes. And I, like, hide the rat behind me.
Oh, so you're
like
standing
I step in front of it,
with
yeah.
your big old pannier so
Yeah.
they can't see it. They're like, yes, did you need something?
I found your button.
It isn't her, it's another girl, but she can...
It's not yours.
What button is that again?
Your friend. The what? Were you? She was one of the ones I hugged. Is she, or is she a different one?
Yeah, she's the one who stabbed
Remember
you by
when
accident.
we all hugged?
Yes, I suppose.
And I got stabbed, and then there was a missing button, and I told you I'd look for it.
You found it?
Yes. Here you go.
Where was it?
In my pocket. I don't know why.
Okay.
I'm like a magnet for buttons, maybe.
You can tell from her face without rolling anything that she is fully like, okay, suspicious, but the fact that you're giving it back is also kind of not, like, equally not suspicious.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what to think about it. She's like, okay, you found it in your pocket.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe while you were dressing me, it fell off.
Oh, yes, but well, she had a straight pin in it, so it probably fell off before that.
I
But
guess
either
that's
way,
true.
I can give it back to it. And so she opens the door and starts walking towards you. And you hear, like, squeak, squeak behind you.
Maybe you stay right there. Can you catch it? And I toss it to her.
Like, before she's like, let's see if she can catch it. Let's find out. Let's lose another button. She catches the crap out of this
heck yeah.
button catching champion of the Weftwick. She catches it like Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid with like 2 fingers, like not looking at it. She's like, whew. I didn't know I could do that either. That was pretty cool of me. Anyway, well, I'll be sure she gets it.
Thank you.
That's all you needed?
Yes.
Well, why don't I pick up some of these? You don't even know what I'm going to say. It's okay.
Don't come in here.
Okay, well, let me know if you need anything else.
Okay, love you.
Love you too. She, like, pause and then, like, starts walking away. And roll a luck check real quick. Right. Just a flat,
18.
You can tell that the rat, you turn around.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Or not. Okay, cool. So the rat was absolutely fixing to book it before you could do that, but it is so encumbered with, like, walnuts and crap that it is, like, slow waddling away. It's got, like, one balanced on its nose.
Oh.
It's just like...
Where are you going?
It, like... is now sort of clocking you again, and it kind of turns around and just starts walking backwards out of the
I have oats. Do you want oats?
It kind of shows you its thing that it has.
I can give you oats with it, and I want a friend. I lost my first friend. It was a pigeon, and it could mimic stuff, and now you're a friend that's a bit more manageable because other people don't need to see you, and then I don't need to explain that you're my friend.
It's like at the edge of the table, just continually kind of backing up. Are you walking towards it?
Yeah, I'm like staying near it.
Okay, as you have this conversation with a extremely encumbered rat, the door absolutely swings open, and you hear the dulcet tones of Lady Gwynth's voice being like, Tavumile, I'm back! And as this happened, the rat drops everything it's carrying and does a swan dive into your enormous pockets.
She does a little like, yes! And then turns around, hi!
And you can feel it like getting comfy in there and stuff. Little rat buddy. And she's like, I'm back. Oh, you look a little bit of a mess over there, isn't it? There's like apricots and
hungry.
crap. You didn't, it doesn't really look like you ate much, though. It just sort of looks like you were arranging it on the table.
You have to, your food, has to look good, you know, before you eat. Here. And I'd scoop them up and I shove them into my mouth.
I suppose you must eat with your eyes first, yes. Well, anyway, let's get to the accessories.
Right.
And as she says that to you with a mouthful of stuff, our view kind of zooms out a little bit. And it zooms out, it leaves through the window into the sort of mid-late afternoon. It's probably now about 4:30, 5 o'clock. It flies through the air over the stacked buildings, and everyone's kind of shutting their stuff down because a lot of people are going to the ball, and so they're like, why should I leave my business open?
Yeah.
So there's not going to be any business. So there's lots of like people putting up, you know, clothes, signs, and packing stuff up. And we fly over this sort of gentle hustle and bustle of people kind of putting stuff away. The streets are not completely empty, but they're emptying. And we fly through a kind of like a underneath a bridge, and then there is a door kind of inside the side of the bridge.
Okay.
Are you following? So it's like 2 brick thingies that hold the bridge up, and there's a door in one of them on one side. It is a black door. It's got a little slider slide to it. Us, the audience, hears.
Ooh.
And then you hear squeak, squeak, this bloody thing, squeak, squeak, stupid thing, squeak, squeak. And then you hear a very familiar voice go, "The crow calls at midnight." The frog hops backwards. The frog does a quintuple backflip and dabs on the haters. Whatever the password is, just let me in. And the voice on the other side goes, "Hello, fingers. Have you have a good day?" And opens the door into a dankly lit sort of hallway. It's kind of funny. It's like I guess that's open for interpretation. I think it's funny. But it's like a kind of dark wood nondescript doorway. It opens up, and there's sort of a tunnel there that is weirdly furnished, and it doesn't look it's not like dank on the inside. It's like sort of furnished nicely. And you kind of walk through, and there's a sort of old looking, kind of hunched over, like Mr. Smee, kind of like from Captain Hook, like the guy who's Captain Hook's like first mate, who's kind of bumbling. Yeah. He's like that kind of like an older guy who's like, we the audience, since you're not there, gets the sense that he is just sort of like a groundskeeper type, or like an innkeeper, but for where we are now.
Yeah.
And he kind of walks through, and he's like, "Master Fingers, should I put the kettle on for you?" And he's just like, "No, it's okay. I got, a cup of coffee on my way back here. I know we only have a couple hours, so let me see how he's doing, and we can, get it going, I guess." He's like, "All right, well, he's in this room, he's sort of sitting there. I guess I shouldn't say he, or everyone's in an old black fabric. I don't know." And he's like, "Yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess we shouldn't say that. Yeah. Okay, well, see you later, Gangrene." And he's like, "Yeah, see you later, Master Fingers."
Gangrene.
Like, I just made that up. That's the only name that I've made up on the spot. Can you tell? He's called, Master Gangrene because he was in a gang, but he wasn't that good at it. So he was like green. He was like new in the gang, and then he started working here anyway. So Fingers kind of like drags his feet off to a room down. It's basically just a long hallway, kind of underneath the city. He's dragging his feet, and there's like other they're like painted red wooden doors. They're like dark red paints chipping that have like, the third eye and, Shadow Blade and, Memphis, like call signs written on them of like, other thieves. Yeah. And he's kind of going like, Shadow Blade. Fingers, like he's like, could be like, I don't know what Memphis is, but it's better than, and he's just like lamenting his fate. And he gets to a door that is, he turns his head, it looks at his own door, turns his head again, and he looks at a door across the way that has a question mark on the door. Okay. It's just a question mark sign painted on the door. And he's going to knock on the door, and say, "Hey, we better start getting ready, if we're gonna be there be ready when it's time, you know what I mean? So, are you up yet? What are you doing in there? Hello?" Like, knock. Mm-hmm. What does this person say back, Shane?
Why don't you just come on in here?
And that's where we're going to end.